Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. Well, it appears that 3I Atlas has a headlight on the front of it. Of course, as you all know, 3I Atlas is that giant interstellar object that is traveling through our solar system as we speak. We're probably going to get a better idea of what exactly this object is later this year when it goes near Mars. We're going to have a telescope out there that's going to be able to get a better look at this thing, and maybe by that point, scientists will be able to determine whether it's a comet or perhaps something else. But right now, according to some scientists, it doesn't seem to be a comet, and it looks like it has a light on the front of it, only on the front of it. Anyway, let's read an article here. This is from Vice, and the headline says, "An interstellar object in our solar system might actually be glowing." It says, "Many interstellar objects are currently heading toward Earth. Perhaps they understand how dire things are here and are offering us a glimmer of hope in the form of total annihilation." For a while there, mostly the hundreds of actual scientists and researchers putting in the work, was tracking every movement of an asteroid that looked like it was heading right toward us, until suddenly it wasn't anymore. Now there's a new interstellar object heading right for us, and at least one prominent scientist thinks it might be aliens or alien technology. A new revelation about the object bolsters this theory. It appears to be emitting its own light. Space things don't usually do that unless they're stars, and stars don't move freely like this thing is. 3I Atlas, the third ever observed interstellar object to cruise through our solar system, and quite possibly, depending on who you ask, a hunk of rock, a radioactive supernova shard, or a slow-rolling alien spacecraft covered in space dust. Scientists think this interstellar object could be emitting its own light. While the scientific consensus so far seems to be leaning toward it being just a regular old comet, Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, known for his unconventional theories that make headlines, is going against the grain as usual. Here's what we know about it so far. NASA's Hubble telescope spotted 3I Atlas glowing with what appears to be a coma, the cloudy halo comets emit when their icy bits are vaporized by the sun. But oddly, there's no tail. No telltale streak of dust pointing away from the sun like you'd expect from your average cosmic ice-covered rock. I just want to stop here for a second. Now, just recently, a few weeks ago, the very popular YouTuber Professor Dave of the YouTube channel Professor Dave Explains pretty much called Avi Loeb. He did actually outright called Avi Loeb a fraud for several reasons, including this. Avi Loeb's belief that this could be something other than a comet and possibly alien technology. And he did this whole big show about it. He's a very popular YouTuber. I'm sure by this point there's probably 1 million people that viewed that YouTube video. At least, I'm sure it's in the hundreds of thousands, I'm sure, by this point. But I wonder what Professor Dave thinks now, because he called Avi Loeb a fraud, but yet there seems to be something strange with this, whatever it is, that's in our solar system right now that doesn't jive with what we know as a comet. And so I wonder if it turns out that if it is some sort of an extraterrestrial technology, I wonder if Professor Dave will give Avi Loeb an apology. I mean, he called him a fraud, basically. That's what he did. So I wonder. Anyway, getting back to this article, it says, instead, the glow seems to be concentrated ahead of its motion, like a flashlight. Loeb and his colleague, Eric Keto, suspect that the glow is self-generated rather than sunlight bouncing off dust. The light, they claim, is coming from the object itself. That would suggest the object is not only smaller than expected, but might also be powered by radioactive material. Loeb's theory posits that it's a nuclear-powered alien spacecraft that has slowly disintegrated after eons in deep space. Truly, it's a hell of a theory and a mighty leap to take, but I guess we're still in the no wrong answers phase of the ideation process, so why not? The trajectory is also a little concerning. 3I Atlas has taken an oddly intimate path through the solar system, brushing past Earth and Jupiter, kind of like it's a scoping out the neighborhood. Next up, Mars. This fall, it'll make a close flyby of the red planet, and NASA's already got plans to point the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter's camera at it. Maybe it's a comet, or perhaps it's a long-abandoned alien spacecraft slowly ripping to pieces in our solar system that, if I may tag on my own theory onto Loeb's theory, is a harbinger of horrors to come, because what caused that giant spaceship to break apart in the first place? So it looks like we're going to find out in October what this thing is, for sure, hopefully. Well, maybe not. Maybe it'll still be up for debate when that time comes. We'll have to wait and see. But I think it's very odd that it's the way it's moving. It seems not like your regular old comet. It also has this light on it in the front of it, but doesn't have any light in the back of it, like you would see on a comet with the tail and behind it. So what is it then? If it's some sort of an alien craft, I mean, what kind of alien craft is there? Are there aliens in it, perhaps? I mean, I'm just asking. I don't know. Is it some sort of an alien probe that was sent out who knows, 500 million years ago, and it's just floating out there in the universe and somehow just finally penetrated into our solar system, and then it will exit our solar system at some point and just continue on its merry old way? Is it older than the Earth? It probably is. It's probably older than this solar system. It's amazing when you really think about it. But I find this story very compelling, and we still don't have an answer on it. I think the idea that it has a light on the front of it, like a headlight, and it's moving through space, that's very intriguing to me. Actually, earlier today, I watched a different YouTuber called The Angry Astronaut. That guy has a pretty, very interesting YouTube channel. And he had some hypotheses on it. He thinks that there could be some sort of, if he thinks it's possible too, that it could be some sort of alien technology. That's something that it could actually be. And so you could check out his channel too. I'll leave a link for that as well as for this article. So if you get a chance, you might want to check it out. But you have to wonder what is going on here. Maybe you remember, I guess it was earlier this year, Jeremy Corbell had commented that at some point people are going to start saying that there's aliens going to be coming here. They're going to arrive in 2027. And you actually have some people now saying that in 2027 there's going to be this big mothership coming, and aliens are coming, and everybody better look out. And what Corbell was trying to say earlier this year is that it's all going to be a bunch of lies. It's not going to be true, and you shouldn't believe that. However, I don't know if this is connected. I mean, I don't think this has any. I don't think 3i Atlas has any connection to this story that's been being propagated by some people out there that we're going to have some sort of an alien invasion in 2027, because right now it's in the solar system right now. Why not right now? If this has any sort of if this object is alien technology, what is it? Why is it here? What's it doing here? Is it old technology that perhaps was launched by some race of beings, billions of years ago, perhaps even 500 million years ago, something like that, and it's just out there? Why does it have a light on the front of it? Why isn't it acting like your regular old comet? I see the problem here is there's a lot of scientists out there that they hate Avi Loeb, like that Professor Dave who I mentioned earlier. They hate him. They hate him because I think it's because they don't have the imagination. They talk about exploring the galaxy. They talk about, like other scientists, a lot of them, they talk about the idea that there's most certainly life on other worlds and everything. But then when you have something like this where you really can't say one way or the other what it is yet, they all get angry at one scientist like Avi Loeb for saying, hey, this could be alien technology. At the same time, Loeb has also made it clear that it's most likely a comet, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's alien technology. We can't say for sure right now. Well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with saying that? I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, the reality is this. There is something here already. Whether this thing out there in space right now has something to do with what's already here, I can't say. Maybe it has something to do with some other alien civilization. Some other alien civilization that doesn't even exist anymore. But it's still fascinating. It's something that we should be talking about. If we don't know what it is yet, and it's exhibiting characteristics that are unlike a comet, then what's wrong with saying that it could be alien technology? That's my big issue here. Why are scientists so loath, most of them, to consider that hypothesis? That's what I don't understand. Why is Avi Loeb a fraud for considering that hypothesis? I don't get that. I just think that's dumb. It's wrong-headed. It's stupid. I think it lacks imagination. There's nothing exciting about that. I guess these people, because they didn't say it and they're not getting all the attention, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what's going on with these scientists. And here's another question for the scientists. Why aren't you looking at the Vegas alien incident? Why do you ever study that? How you have novices out there like myself looking at it, recognizing that there's something to that case, but yet there's no one checking it out themselves. No scientists are investigating this, as far as I know. Right? Instead, you get nothing. You get crickets. They're just not interested, folks. I don't know. I think maybe they're lazy. Actually, even Avi Loeb himself, why isn't he looking into it? If he's interested in aliens technology and the possibility that 3i Atlas might be alien technology, why don't you look at what's going on right here on the damn planet? Avi. All these scientists, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? You think you would have jumped at that Las Vegas alien case where it shows definitively that there's non-human intelligence here with us right now. There's no question about it as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, that's still interesting. At least Avi Loeb is considering the possibility of 3i Atlas. I'll give him that credit. He's considering that it could be alien technology out there floating around. And maybe it is. But here's a question I do. I wonder, when this telescope near Mars does get a close-up look at it, and it does turn out to be something exotic like alien technology, are we going to be told the truth? I wonder. I don't know if we will be told the truth. That's one thing I wonder. Or are they going to say, oh, it's just too fuzzy, it's inconclusive, and they won't show us the stuff that they really get? I wonder about that, too, because there is a cover-up going on, folks, as well, as you all know. That's why that's one of the reasons nobody talks about the Las Vegas alien stuff, because there's a cover-up, and they know what that case means. It means that there's no getting out of this anymore. There's no wiggling out of this anymore. It shows that we're not alone, for sure. Anyway, moving on. I want to get caught up on my on the Spotify polls. I haven't done that in quite a few episodes here, so we're going to go back to... we're going to start at the episode, Aliens Will Certainly Be Interested in the NASA Nuclear Reactor Planned for the Moon. I asked this question: do you expect the NHI presence to react in some fashion when the United States begins construction of its new moon nuclear reactor? There's 36 votes so far with 13 days left. Okay. 4 people, or 11.1%, say no, while a majority... 32 people, or 88.9%, say yes. Now, for those of you who remember that episode, as you all know, I guaranteed at the end of that episode, I guarantee that there's going to be UFO activity, right? There's going to be a reaction from the NHI presence on this Earth, around Earth, in this solar system. There's going to be a reaction. I'm guaranteeing it. There are going to be UFO reports that we're going to hear about. Whether they're leaked or not, I don't know. But we're going to hear about UFO reports, and we might even get some images, right? But when they're putting that nuclear reactor on the moon, right, we're going to hear it's going to increase in some fashion. It's going to cause a reaction by the NHI presence. I guarantee it. Let's see if I'm wrong. I can't wait. In fact, you know what? I know I'm going to be right. I know it. I absolutely know it for a fact. How's that? I know there's a lot of people right now, they can't wait to see when I'm wrong, but guess what? I guarantee I'm going to be right, just like I said earlier in that previous show. Okay, what's the next one here? Okay, for the episode, when UFOs cause motor vehicles to stall out, I asked this question: did a UFO ever cause your vehicle to stall out? Okay, 35 votes so far with 12 days left. Okay, only one person, or 2.9%, says yes, while the majority, 34 people, or 97.1%, says no. Well, I have to agree with the majority because that did not happen to me. It must be very rare these days. But it did happen. As we all know, it does happen sometimes. People's cars get stalled out when UFOs are hovering above them. We've talked about numerous different cases where this happened during this podcast, the course of this podcast. But only one person here who has seen this poll says it happened to them. But I would imagine that it is probably a very rare occurrence. So, yeah. You should be, if it didn't happen to you, you should be glad that it didn't. It didn't happen to you. I mean, I think that's something that would scare the hell out of me. Anyway, moving on. For the episode, Grush's $2.5 million lawsuit dismissed / incredible 1960 UFO encounter in Argentina detailed, I asked this question: have you ever had a UFO and or alien encounter, but you never told anyone about it? Okay, 23 votes with 14 days left. Okay, it's almost a tie, actually. 11 people, or 47.8%, say no, while 12 people, or 52.2%, say yes. Of course, as you know, I'm no, right? So if I was to participate in this poll, which I did not, it would be even. It would be 12-12, right? Because I told everybody about it. I tell everybody about it, right? As you all know, because I told all you guys about it. I told the whole world about it. What are you talking about? Okay, moving on. Let's see here. For the episode, disclosure already happened. Most people just don't know it yet. I just want to point out something before I even read the question. That's so true. So true. Anyway, I asked this question. Is the claim that aliens are arriving to Earth in force in 2027 true or false? 27 votes so far with 15 days left. Okay, only 4 people or 14.8% say it's true, while the majority, 23 people or 85.2%, say it's false. I agree with the people who say it's false because guess what? I don't think it's true. I think these prophetizing claims are nonsense. I don't know how anybody would know these things. It sounds like made up BS to me. I have to agree with Jeremy Corbell when it comes to that. If something does show up in 2027, it's not because somebody knew it here. It's just by coincidence. How's that? That's what I think. Okay, moving on. For the episode, Air People in Sphere tell Finnish grandmother in 1914 that they're here to protect humanity. Okay, I asked this question. Did the NHI abduct the grandmother and or her grandson and they never realized it? If you remember that podcast and that story, there was in 1914 in Finland, there was a grandmother and her 10-year-old grandson, and it was in broad daylight where some kind of sphere-shaped craft showed up, and inside the craft there was an oval window, and behind the oval window there were these two alien creatures staring back at them, and the Finnish grandmother said that they're here for to protect humanity, they're here to help us, and they're that kind of stuff. And then after they left, the kid said he felt real tired and he ended up sleeping the rest of the afternoon off and then woke up later on. The question was, were they abducted and they just didn't realize it? Okay, let's see what the people say with 21 votes so far with 15 days left. Okay, 6 people or 28.6% say no, while a majority, 15 people or 71.4% say yes. I agree with the majority. It just sounds pretty fishy to me that all of a sudden the grandson felt real tired. It was only probably around 1 o'clock in the afternoon and he had to go sleep it off after seeing those creatures in the sphere. I think I don't know, you would think the reaction would be something opposite of that, right? I think maybe it's possible, based on all the other stories that we know about that would happen later on with alien abductions and whatnot, right? It seems like that's probably what happened here. I don't think that they came down in a sphere, checking out the grandmother, looking at her house, and then just flew away, right? I don't think that they came with some other purpose, right? And the purpose probably was to abduct them and do some examinations on them and that kind of stuff. Who knows? Throw a couple implants in them. Something like that. Why not? We know the implants are real too. Remember that documentary from Jeremy Corbell? There's no question about it. Some people get implants in them by these aliens. But a lot of people don't want to admit this. Anyway, moving on. For the episode, German resident tells strange orb story. It had a consciousness. I asked this question. Are the mysterious orbs connected to the humanoid aliens present on Earth, or are they a separate phenomenon? 16 votes so far with 17 days left. Okay, 5 people or 31.3% say it's separate, while 11 people or 68.8% say it's connected. Yeah, I would have to think it's connected in some fashion. I think it's probably connected. That doesn't make me right? But I'm going to agree with the majority on that one. I think that's connected to the NHI presence that's here already. All right. For the next episode, a Canadian who tried CE5 meditation to cure his deafness now believes he conjured demons, not NHI. I asked this question, are demons real? 26 votes so far with 18 days left. Let's see here. 11 people or 42.3% say no, while a majority, 15 people or 57.7% say yes. Well, I don't know. I really don't know. I told you about my story, recently. And those things, whatever I was seeing when after that funeral, that looked like demons to me. I don't know how, I don't know. And of course, then I told you also in a follow-up show, I talked about that it could have been grief, grief hallucinations. That's what Scott Roeder said. He did some research, and that could be what it was. It was just hallucinations caused by grief because you're not getting much sleep, you're stressed out, you're exhausted. But outside of that, right? Beyond that, are demons real? I don't know. I hope not. I really hope not. I don't know. I'm going to go, but if I'm forced to say yes or no, I'm going to say yes because there are some people on this planet, I believe, have demonic souls in their person. That seems obvious. I mean, look at Charles Manson, Jeffrey Epstein. That's all demonic stuff to me. Adolf Hitler. People who basically hate humanity and themselves, and they don't care what they do and how they hurt people. It seems to me we have demons here. Yeah, they're real, but they're in the form of human beings sometimes. So that's where I stand on that one. Okay, for the episode, rural Pennsylvania man says UFOs have been hovering above his home every night for over a week. I asked this question: how many times have you seen a UFO? Okay, 31 votes so far with 19 days left. Okay, we've got a bunch of multiple choice here. So let's start with the lowest common denominator. Actually, 0 people say 4 times. 2 people, or 6.5%, say 3 times. 4 people, or 12.9%, say twice. 5 people, or 16.1%, say they lost count. 6 people, or 19.4%, say never, while the majority of people, 14 or 45.2%, say once. I'd have to go with the majority because I have to say that the only one I know for sure was definitely not made by mankind was the one that I saw in the mid-1990s, on a nighttime fishing trip. Beyond that, there was other things I saw. The one time in about 2010, and I was just talking about this with somebody else just recently. About 2010, I remember the one night it was around, I think it was around August, somewhere around there. And maybe August, September in 2010. I remember going out on my back porch in the house that I used to live in, and I looked up in the night sky, and it was completely clear. You could see just millions of stars. It was really dark where at the time there was not a lot of lights around, so I could really get a good look at it. And when I was looking up, I saw way up there, it looked like outside of the Earth's atmosphere, it looked like a triangle. There was you could see a light on each corner of a triangle moving very slowly above outside of the Earth's atmosphere. And I just thinking to myself, boy, that thing must be gigantic. I mean, it was small from where I stood, of course, but it was way up there. I think in my mind at the time I was thinking, boy, it has to be pretty big. I mean, because it looks like it's outside of the Earth's atmosphere, but I could still see this triangle shape. I could tell it's a triangle based on these dots in each corner, these lights in each corner. But it was very faint, but I did see this, and I saw it moving through the sky. But I don't know. I can't say for sure if that was an alien craft, or maybe it was some sort of a satellite. Maybe I was so far away. I just, when they're far away like that, I just can't say with certainty what it could be. Now, the one that I saw in the mid-1990s, though, that's a different story. In fact, I was just talking to my friend just before I started the show here, who was with me that night. And we didn't talk about that, though. We were talking about other things. But that was no question about it. Absolutely no doubt whatsoever. That thing could not have been made by humankind. That thing, to be that big as a house that was right there in front of us like that, only 2.5 stories off the ground, absolutely no sound whatsoever, right? There's no way we have technology like that. We still don't have nobody has technology like that. That thing had to be aliens. There's no question in my mind about it. So I'm with, yes, the majority says once. That's the one time that I saw a UFO, for sure. No question. Okay, moving on. For the episode, Compton Alien Resembles Allagash 4 Insectoid Abductor with Scott Roeder, I asked this question: have you ever been abducted by aliens? 26 votes so far with 20 days left. Let's see where this one stands. Okay, only 4 people, or 15.4%, say yes, and the majority, 22 or 84.6%, say no. I don't know if I ever was. I can't say. I know I had an alien encounter, but was I abducted? I don't know. I don't have any memory of that. I never was hypnotized, and I don't think I want to be hypnotized. I know that they're real. I don't need to know anything else. I don't want to know anything else. I mean, sometimes I'm wishy-washy on this. Maybe someday I'll go and get hypnotized, but maybe I won't. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to relive it. I don't know if I want to go through that again. I was a little kid, and I thought it was a demon in the room. I don't know if I'd want to relive that. Who knows? That whole incident lasted for 20 minutes, and then I was conked out somehow very mysteriously. Do I want to know what happened, if something happened afterward, or maybe something beforehand? I don't know. Maybe I was abducted and they were bringing me back and I woke up, or maybe they were about to abduct me and then they conked me out and then abducted me. I don't know. If I was abducted, I don't know. But I have to say right now, I don't know. So no. Hopefully no. Let's say hopefully no. Okay, let's move on to the next one. For the episode, NHI beings are extraterrestrials, not interdimensional, demonic, or ultra-terrestrial creatures, I asked this question: what do you believe is the best explanation for the NHI presence on Earth? 34 votes so far with 22 days left. Okay, here's multiple choice again. 0 people say unseen consciousness. Okay. 2 people, or 5.9%, say other. Another 2 people, or 5.9%, say demons from hell. 3 people, or 8.8%, say interdimensional beings. Another 3 people, or 8.8%, say ultra-terrestrial beings. Okay, and there's a tie for the top slot here. 12 people, or 35.3%, say combination of above, while another 12 people, or 35.3%, say extraterrestrials. As you all know where I stand on this, I call my show Extraterrestrial Reality. I agree that they are extraterrestrials. That's my belief. It doesn't make me right. That's my opinion. I think they're coming from other planets. As we all know, I went through that in that episode for the reasons why. I hope it makes, and one thing I did fail to mention in that episode, I talked about the physical trace evidence. I talked about the dead alien bodies that have been recovered, right? And I failed to mention alien implants, right? I failed to mention that. I talked about cattle mutilations, but I failed to mention alien implants. They're physical things that are put in people's bodies. And Dr. Roger Lear, as we remember from Jeremy Corbell's documentary, Patient 17, he removed these objects. He was removing these implants from people, and they're unearthly, these things, otherworldly objects. They don't have any. There's no reason that they were there. Nobody knows how they got there, other than what the people said that were abducted. They said they had implants in them. That's what it was. That's what it is. It's alien technology of some sort that is being implanted, where there's for surveillance, for control of some kind. Who knows, right? But that's another reason. These things are physical creatures. And they're tagging us like we're like the way we tag deer or something, or wildlife. So that's another good reason right there. Implants. I failed to mention that in that show. Okay, and then for the episode, the reason extraterrestrials traveled to Earth, I asked this question: do extraterrestrials plan to evict humans from Earth and take over? Okay, 23 votes so far with 23 days left. 3 people, or 13%, say yes. 10 people, or 43 point, or there's another tie here. 10 people, or 43.5%, say no, while another 10 people, or 43.5%, say maybe. I agree with the maybes. It's very possible that that's what this is all about. I don't know for sure, but that's what it could be. It could be that their planet is dying and they needed another place to come to, and they came to this place, and now they're here. And then when we started dropping atomic bombs on people, then that raised up a red flag. They got very concerned, and then maybe that's when they began their hybridization program. They're programmed to control us, right? Because they're living here too, and we're out of control, and they don't want to be concerned about us making this place uninhabitable for us and them. So that could be the case. And that's just the opinion I have. So maybe, I don't know for sure. So I agree with the maybes. Anyway, I want to say this. I want to say thank you all for joining me today. Until next time.